Hi everyone, it's Rachel and I am back working on my little journal that I'm making. So the next phase, once you've done your cover, so this is the cover that we did in the previous video, we need to choose, my next step is I like to choose the pages. So I've got my pile of, these are my printables here. So I'm going to go through and see which ones do I want to use. So let's have a look. So that's a possibility, those two. That's been torn. Now these are on thicker paper, so I'm wondering if I'll see what I've got. I'll put those ones aside. I might have to use those, but I prefer to use them printed on regular paper. So this is on regular paper. This one, regular paper. I've got that. So, no, that again is on good quality paper. This is just regular paper. There's another one. Now these are not, that's not. This is all on good paper. Those were just, so, oh, well, I could use these. These are some public domain pages that I had printed out. I could use those. They're just embroideries and things to use in collaging. That's all on good paper. Screen, yes. Oh, nearly fell over. All right, now these are good because I need to back. These are my what are they called? And these are also good. And so when I'm choosing papers, I don't want these ones on the sort of heavier paper. I want them on the not so heavy paper. When I'm choosing papers for a journal, I like to do a bit of an eclectic mix. I don't like everything to be too matchy-matchy. But also I like to do a mix of sort of printables, book pages, older book pages, straw paper, and all that sort of thing. So I've got heaps here. But what I need to make sure is I pull out, see I've got some double ups here, so I'll have to be careful not to put doubles. It's all torn. I want these background sort of papers. These I want. That's what I'm looking for. Because because they're white, I want to sort of back them. We'll need tags later. We don't need that one, I've already got it. That one I can take. So yeah, so first I'll pull out a few, I think I've already got that one. It's a good one. What was I saying? First I'll choose some pattern papers, and then I choose my other papers. So this is doesn't have a very deep spine. I tend to make things really bulky. So, I mean, it does have room to grow, but I might just select, maybe I'll select 5 patterned papers, and they can be back to front. So they can go on the backs of, those can go on the backs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to go on the back. I'll keep those for tags. Oh, what about one of these? Oh, those would be nice on the back. So I'll keep those out. And then I'm going to keep a little bit of the Italian theme, but I'm going to have this one and this one. No. Yes. Pull those out. I might put, oh, that's a nice one. You see, this is what happens to me. I can't decide. They're all nice, but oh, I think I might use this one. Just let me see here. I love that one, but that one's better for the back. I think I want to keep on with my Italian theme. So I'm swishing over those because I'm thinking I probably won't use them. I'm just going to pull that one out. I might have an embroidery as well. Probably don't need any of those. I'll keep that one aside. I like to put music paper in. Oh, these are what I want. I want to include these two, definitely. I like to include music paper, but I don't think I'm going to have any big pieces of music paper on my table, because if you remember, we're using stuff that's on the table. So now, with this, I'm going to grab one of these. Yep. And I'm going to, actually, what I'm going to do, what I normally do is I back them with a big piece of straw paper, or I don't normally back them with something that's been printed. But because this is all I've got on my table, and I'm using what I've got on my table, I can't, I don't have any masking paper, the American masking paper, painted like the thin paper, painter's paper, and I don't have any straw paper. So I can't back it with those. So I have to back it with things that I have that are printed. So if I were backing it with like a big piece of straw paper or masking paper, all I would do is put glue on this, glue it down, and then I would trim around it. But because I'm not using those, I have to have these pages sort of meet up, if you know what I mean. So it's easier, I think, to trim it first. In theory, they should be about the same size. That's the theory. But I'll just trim off any excess. Now, my other issue is my my journal is quite tall. So what I think I might do is I could make a Franken paper, but I don't think I will. I think I'll just stagger my papers. And then I've got that new concise book as well, the floral book, so I could probably get away with that. I'm just going to Yoo-hoo stick this. Now I am careful when I do this that I try to get it everywhere to avoid getting air pockets, but I don't have to get it right to the edge, because I am going to stitch around them. But I probably will do that off camera. That's easy. I could do one. I haven't plugged in I might do it the next video, but I haven't plugged in my machine, have I? I've got paper baking in the oven as well. So this one seems to be slightly bigger. So I'll place it in such a way that I can trim it off. Yep, I'll be trimming that. But I need to get my little card here and just smooth it out, and then I'll trim it. I might even use my trimmer. That could be a good idea. See, slightly bigger. But that's good, because then we can just trim it off. Yep. Okay, so there we go. We've got a double page. Oh, and I didn't always check that you've got it the right way up. Now, where's my other page? I love this page. So that page is going to go in, and I think I'll back it with this one. So let's get more. Are they bigger? Yes, I think that. No, they're not. So, well, why don't we just wing it and see what happens? Get the glue everywhere. Let's just wing it and see what happens. It's not the best way to line them up like this. Whoops. I think I really do. Well, I don't know. I can always, I was thinking I really need to limit myself to 5 pattern pages. But that will depend also on how much stuff I've got on my table, because if I don't have enough stuff, I don't have to limit myself, do I? There we go. I'll get my trimmer afterwards and we'll trim them down. So that's that page. Very nice. And then I'm going to use, I'm going to use this one. And what do I feel like I might like to see on the back of that one? I like maybe that one, or I have lots of other nice things here. You can't see that one. That's what I'm going to like. So I'll get my glue on here again. And it's only going to be one signature. I think I mentioned that in my first video, because it's not a deep spine, and I need to leave room for myself to add pockets and things. So I think I'll, no, that one is crooked. I might just trim, I might regret this decision, but I'm going to trim the bottom off here because the printer sucked in my paper crooked, as it does, and that is not, I can kind of vaguely see the shadow there. So if I put that like that, it should be okay. You just have to go with it. It's junk journaling. It's not, you know, it's not precise. It's not precise journaling. It's not what it's called. You see, I'm going to lose a bit here because I need to trim it down. Then I've got this gorgeous one here, and see what I don't know. It's just like a feeling. So I think I'm liking this paper because I'm liking these colours, and I'm liking those colours with those colours, and the green with the green. It just speaks to me. It's just what I feel like I want to do. So let's get some glue on that one. And I'm up to how many? 4. So I've actually got papers baking in the oven, and I'm going to have to go and check on them, but I can't pause my video. So what we might do in this video is pull out all our pages, and I'll do a part 2 of the part 2, if you know what I mean. Then we'll actually just go into part 3 where I sort of organise my pages. Now these are not going to meet up perfectly because, as you can see, the border's different, but they'll just be trimmed down to the right size. And then I have to choose out of these. I think I like this one, definitely. I like all of them, of course, and I think I'm going to use that one for something different. Or what else did I have over here? Got a embroidered, no, not those. Or I've got that one. I'm sort of looking at my pages here. I think this one coordinates the best. So this one's already been trimmed, so I have a feeling this first kit I did bigger. And, oh, you know what I did? I printed it borderless. That's what I did. That's why they're bigger. But then the borderless, when I printed borderless, I don't know, something, I decided not to do that. I don't know whether it was the ink or I couldn't put it on draft. I don't know. It was using up a lot of ink, so yep, these are borderless. That's why they're so big. So just put that there, and then it will be trimmed down. There we go. Great. So that's those. So all of these other ones that I didn't use, I'm just going to put aside where I can see them easily in case I need some more pages. I'll just put them on top of my pile over there. I've got some coffee dyed paper here too. So I also have these papers here. So I like to put in old book page. I'm not going to put in something like that because that's torn. It needs to be something that can go in. Like that one. Those are. So I've got this old book page. It's very brittle. I'm wondering whether I should use it more for collage, or just maybe I'll just fold it and put it in. No, it's cracking, so I'll have to use that for collage. I've got this lovely old page. I can put that one in. And I've got that one. And then I've got some of these are nice. So I could cut those down. See, they're going to be good because they're big. So I'll just pull out a few things here. That one could go in that way. Yeah, I pull out a few things. I have some, I better get the glue bit off. These are just, I keep these things always on my table because these are good for, I just want to get rid of the, it's got the glue. It's quite hard. I may get my, oh no, I have to stitch around my other pages. That's my thing. So that's, I keep these for, you know, backing. So that's a good height. I could, what about if I decided to fold it there and then we can attach something there? That would be good. That's a good idea. And then I said, what other book? I've got, see, I've got all, see, I keep all these things because you can use them for backing tags and that sort of stuff. But I've also got this book over here that I can put in something. And these are nice big pages, so maybe I could do a similar sort of thing. If I can get it out. I'll trim that off. And it's a nice strong piece of paper, so I could stitch it to something. I could stitch it to something. Let's get a couple of those. Let me think what else. So yeah, just a mix of papers if you've got music paper. I don't think I've got any music paper here. Oh, I might put, I've got a doily. I might put that one in. I've got this bag. That's all of those there. I don't think I'll put my Florentine paper in. Oh, I've got this. This is nice paper. That was sent to me. That's an old piece of vintage paper. Oh, I did have some masking paper here. Look. Looks like an old one. Oh, I've got that. I've got this there. That was just Steffi was mucking around with that. And he did like a digital sort of stamp on it. And I've got this piece here that I was playing around with that I collaged a little bit onto it and then didn't finish it. And more of those book pages. I'm just seeing what else. I've got that, but I can use that. Got more coffee dyed paper. I haven't put out any coffee dyeds, have I? Well, that's a good thing. What about if we get that? Oh, and that's a good thing. And there's some more coffee dyed paper. So look at all the book pages. Hundreds of them. What's this? That's nice. Kind of want it to be a little bit junky. I don't want it to all be like really perfect. There's some more book pages. Okay, so I'll get those. Put it back over there. I mean, I'm hardly even making a dent in it. And then I had some more tea dyed. This is tea dyed stuff. So, right, I've got too much stuff here. Of course I do. Now, I need to trim these down. Let's do that. I do really enjoy the handle flew off, so it hurts my hand. It's probably a bit dusty because I haven't used it for a while. I do really enjoy choosing my pages. I always choose too many and always have to take them out. Oh, I'm feeling like I'm getting back into action. I still haven't started my orders yet, but I'm building up to it. Building up to it, I am. There we go. And that's going to be good. It just needs to be stitched around. And then where are the other ones here? Let's see this one. See this one, poor me, I didn't need to trim that one down because I had this nice big piece. But anyway, let's see if I can... I don't even know if I'm on screen at this point, but you'll just have to cope. Put that there. So yes, if you were going to, you know, there's not really any point in backing with printed stuff. That's why I don't do it, because there's really no point to it at all, because you might as well just print double-sided. And if I'm printing double-sided, just because I'm not very good at it, I'm not quite sure whether it's going to go upside down or not, I'll print something that like this. So this has a direction, an up and a down, and I'll print something on the other side that, you know, maybe just a plain, you know, scanned coffee dyed paper, or I'm going to trim it and then I'll see if all the white came off on the other side. Yeah, I'll print something on the other side that doesn't have a direction, so it's just plain. Like it could be an embroidery that doesn't matter whether it's up or down, or that goes in all directions, or that sort of thing. Or it could be just a scanned tea-dyed paper. It could be just a generic sort of pattern that doesn't really matter which way it goes. Now, this one is fine, so that's good. And then we had this one to trim. This one's not going to be fine, I know it. But this is the side, this is my main side. So I'm going to trim this and see what happens. Now because I'm not standing up, I can't really see if I've got it going straight or not. But I don't worry about those things so much. Now I'm going to flip it over. See, I've got, the only place I've got a lot of white is on this side, so that's good. So let's line it up. That's not straight. And I've got a little bit of white there. There we go. So that one wasn't too bad, was it? And then I had one more here. My papers are probably roasting. I'm not doing the draft method of coffee dyeing at the moment because it doesn't dry. It's too cold, and the sun's not strong enough, and it's also very damp outside, so it just doesn't dry. So I don't bother with it. I do that in summer. I think I'll build up some stock this summer, doing the draft method of coffee dyeing, where you get the pattern on the paper. And I've got a little bit of white there, but it didn't turn out too badly, did it? I didn't have to trim off too much. And there we go. So my pretty pages are done, and they're nice and robust because they're double. So you don't really need any cardstock in there. Throw that out. Okay. So I do need to stitch around these, but I'm going to do that off camera. So I'm going to fold them in half, and then that way we can decide an order and what papers to include, and then I'll stitch them afterwards. They might not be perfectly straight. I also can, I have a better idea what order they should go in if I'm looking at them folded, because you can see your half, if you know what I mean. Oh, I love that. Just love it. And I'm mixing all my kits here. I'm not using just one. I have a bone folder somewhere. Where's it gone? There we go. Let's use this. I don't know what edge I'm supposed to use it on, but I'll just go like this. There we go. Okay, so when we're opening, so I'm looking at, to decide my order, I'm looking at my journal, and I'm just thinking what would go with this, and what does my eye want to see when I open it. So for example, look how little the pages are. I should have trimmed it down. I like that, but I might like this more when I open it. No, I think I might like this one. Or I'm not going to put that one because that's the same shield as that. No, so it's between this one and I think this one was my other favourite. That one, or I think I'm going to do this one. So that's going to be my first page, what you're going to see when you open it. Then what I do is I just slip things in, and as I said, I'm going to sort of So this is printed on ivory paper, so I don't mind that. That's printed on white paper, so I prefer not to put that one in. Oh, I've got my tea-dyed paper here, and this is something that I had collaged the other day, and then when I was doing all those book pages, and then this was just here that Steph left there. That's nice. This, we've got that. That's very appropriate in there, isn't it? And then we've got these that I wanted to stitch to something. I've got this nice big one here. So maybe I'll put that one in. Now, let me just get the height. If I put that one in, now you just want your pages not to be level there. You want them to be a little bit shorter than that. So I really do eyeball it. I'll just grab my ruler and more or less just tear it off. Here we go. I don't care if it's got a torn edge. It's a little bit tall, but that'll be okay. So that's going to give me my height. And then for your width, when you're doing a journal, yep, this is going to be wide enough. You don't want to go more than that, really. You need to leave yourself a little bit of space here. So yeah, I normally take about, I think I take about 1 centimetre off when you measure it. So to get your width, just say you're doing a regular journal, you would measure from where your fold is here to here, and then I'd probably make it, so if I'm measuring here, and that's 16 about, from that fold to that fold, I would make my pages. So you have to double it, because obviously you double it, right? So your width of your paper needs to be double, so 32, and I'd make them 31. So they'd come to here, 31 there. Yeah, that's what I would do. And then your height, just take off 0.5 centimetre or so, or 1/4 of an inch off the height, so they're not you know, poking out the top. So I'm going to put that one there for the moment, so I can see how I'm going to be placing my pages. Although I think I like this first, and you just go with what you sort of feel like. You don't have to, there's no sort of rule like that. I might slide that one down a bit further. Okay, and so what I generally try to do is sort of mix up pages. So I could attach that there. I might do that. For now I'm going to glue it, and then I'll stitch it. So yes, I think I'll glue that there. I'll glue it and then stitch it when it's dry. Just put a stitch down there to hold it in place. And I know it's taller, but I'll trim it down. And it's also going to be wider than what I want. But I'll sort that out afterwards. Let's just get things happening here. So I've got that one, but I think I might like to see that one beforehand. So what will I attach that one to? I can attach that to something. I can. I could stitch it to that. No, I want something. Stitch it to the map. So where to stitch it to the map? No, I think I'll fold the map. I'm going to fold the map, but I need to trim the map. Also got these. Oh, aren't they lovely? Probably don't need that bit there. And I could actually attach those two together and then trim it down. Why don't I do that? So I'll just... So my width is about 15.5. So I need to fold it about there. See, it's not precise. You just make it up as you go. And my issue is I don't... Well, I can glue it that way. But I don't want to... Oh, wait, now just a minute. So that means I need to trim this off a little bit to get... Because I don't want to lose my images here. So I'm going to trim this off about there. so. And then I can glue that there, you see. How about that? Glue that there. Good. So I need to put my glue here where the writing is. And it will be stitched, so I'm not too fussed about it. Put that there. So that's how we've created a bigger page. Okay, and then I can trim it down as I need to, but I'm just sort of working out my pages at this point. It's all looking very confusing, isn't it? Okay, so I've got that. So what I want to do, I think I'm going to slip this one in here. Although then I don't like to have two images together. So let's just go on and then I can sort it out. So then I've got this one. And then I can put maybe, oh, isn't that good? Tea dyeing. That there. And then I've got my bag. And I'll decide how I want to open that. Might have one side shorter than the other. Put that there. And I could, you know, decide to sort of switch this up a bit. I might not be happy with it. Put that in there. And then I need these. Oh, what about one of these super old? These are from the early 1800s. No, early 1800s or 1900s. I might like one of those in the front. Might like it there. Might move that one to here. You can see you get bulky very quickly. And I might not like this. I might have to switch it up. It'll make more sense when we trim it down. I've got 2 more pages of those I need to include. So, I don't want that one there. I'd like this one. I like the colour more. Yep, I do. And then here I've got too many planes. So I think I'm going to move that. And I'm going to, what else do I have? Got this. Yep, I like this more. And I do put some of these pages, so in my paper kits at the moment, I've got some of these pages. I've got a couple of that German book that's from 1876, the one that had the images. And then, so the bigger pages are like 1930s, and then that German one is 1876. All of the other pages, including these are in there. As late 1700s to mid 1800s, just so you know. So that's that. Now what would I like to put next? I'd probably like to put the map. I need to trim the map. I'm not going to even fold it exactly halfway. I'm just going to put it like that. I need to get this one in there. Oh, doily. No, it's a little bit bent and broken. I always like a doily in there. So I think what I'm going to do for the moment, before I've 100% decided, is just trim down those pages that are too big, because I think they're confusing me a little bit. And I can't remember what was my height. I didn't measure my height. So my height is, it's 25.5 centimeters. So yep, 25 is what I'm going to make the height of my pages. And the width of my pages has to be 15.5, because it was 16. So I need to trim these down. You're saying, don't do it, but I have to. Okay, so just taking them out one at a time. I need 15 and a half. I might do it slightly more this one because I don't want to lose too much of those paintings you see on the other side. And here I'm going to trim a bit off the bottom and a bit off the top to get to my height, because I don't want to lose again too much of my images. So that should be right now. Isn't that gorgeous? I love it. Okay, so that's going to go back in. And now what else do I have that's not the right size? Oh, I'm so messy. So messy. This one is not the right size, I can see. Take a little bit off there. It could have probably fit because it was 16. That should be right. That's this one I need to trim, and I need to trim around this one. I probably could have torn it, but I do need to go and see my papers baking in the oven. I can't smell any smoke, so it should be all right. I did put them on a very low temperature, but they were just taking too long. I was waiting to do my video, and they were taking too long, so I just gave up and came in and started doing video. So that's that one. And we'll reorder them in a second. And this one I need to make it, so I'm going to lose a bit of the flowers. Oh well, that's what happens. Okay, I'll keep that. And then I've got to trim a little bit off the bottom and a little bit off the top. There. And doing that just makes it a little bit easier for me to see what's happening in my pages. I'll keep that near. Okay, let's see, get some sense into what's happening in here. So we have that. I'm wondering whether I might even like to see that in the front page. I think I do. Put that there. I don't, and as I said, I don't like to have pattern with pattern. I like to mix it up. So I'm switching it now because I've trimmed them down and I can see what I'm doing better. Okay, then what? I think we'll have the tea dyed. I'll put that one down there. And then we might have this one. I'm just going to stagger them. And we'll put this one. And then we'll put this one. It's a nice big one. And I might put the map. So the map can go there. And then I need something bigger, so I'll put this one here. Then we'll see if we like them. This one. I just need my bone folder for this. I would like to include a bag, and this is a bag from Florence. Okay, put that there. Yeah, I like that. And then put, where did my doily go? Oh, there it is. Put that one there. I might have too many pages, we'll see. I think I'd like the doily. And that one. Let's have a look. That's going to be good, isn't it? I like the look of that now. So this, love that, love that. Great. I might just slip that one in there, to be honest. Yep, it's doing it better for me. So that one, that's all good. that one, and then that one. I haven't put this page in. I could put that page in. Could put something. Oh, that one's torn. I can't put that one in. That's why it's on my table for collaging. I've got more. I don't want more tea dyed. I could put this one in. I haven't trimmed that. Or I think I might like to use this one. Put this little piece in if it doesn't crack. No, it's not cracking. Put that in there. Yep. And then that one. And then that one. Oh, I've got a lot of stuff in here. So let's see if that's going to work. So that's how we've chosen the pages. Yep, that's going to be good. Let's see. So when you open it, you see that. And don't worry, there will be decorations and stuff. So that. And then it's going to flip open and all of these pages. A lot of pages in here. We'll see how we go. Good. So now what I need to do is off screen I will take it all apart and just stitch these few things that I need to stitch, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how to we'll decide whether to decorate them first. Might have to come back and do some ephemera. Oh, I love it. Yes, it's going to be good. Okay, so yeah, borderline. They're borderline with the width. You see they'll stitch in there, and that still folds because I just made it. So yeah, I always take off when I double my measurement from here to here. I always take off 1 centimetre. So there you go. So let's just reiterate. How do you measure your pages? Well, first of all, you can eyeball it. So you can just put your page here, fold it, and then just sort of tear it to the right height. And that way you really get a junky journal. Otherwise, you can measure it. So if my height is 25.5, I'd take 1 centimetre off. So 0.5 centimetre off top and bottom, or just take, take 1 centimetre off. So your height should be 24.5. Okay, and if you want to see inches, the inches, it's 10 inches, so I would make it 9 3/4 inches, the height. And then for the width was 16, so you need to double that because your pages are folded, so it's 32, and then I make them 31 in theory. And then so in inches, oh my goodness, I'm not good, 6 1/4, so I'd make it 6, so 12 inches the width. Okay, one thing to note, it's not so important with this particular book because there's only one signature. As you put your pages inside of each other, obviously this part here sort of builds up. So this page is here, but then the center of the inner pages are further forward. So you'll see they start to stick out. So sometimes I'll trim them, the pages that are going to go more in the center of the signature, I trim them a bit more than the 15.5 that I had decided when they were folded. Okay, so I hope that's clear. We've chosen our pages. I'm going to stitch them, and then we'll decide, then I'll think about whether we're going to make embellishments first and then put them on first, because sometimes there's two ways. You make your embellishments, like your pockets and stuff. I like to do them, sort of make a few, and then I'll go through and put them in. And I usually stitch them in. So that means I don't sew in my pages yet. I'll stitch in all of my pockets and everything, and then I sew in my pages. The other way you can do it is you sew in your pages and then glue in your embellishments. So you can do it either way. It just depends what you feel like doing. Sometimes I glue them in, sometimes I don't feel like stitching them in. Just depends. So we'll decide that for the next video. So I hope that was helpful. I've gone over again the measurements, and just to reiterate, how do I organize my pages? I don't like having too many plain sort of pages near each other, and I don't like having too many pattern pages, so I kind of alternate them. And I sort of, it's just, you know, it's just a feeling of what when I open the pages is what is pleasing to my eye. And again, these are all pages that were on my table. I did have a lot of stuff on my table, as I mentioned in the first video, so I'm lucky. But yeah, I did choose everything. It's all from on my table, so that's fun. And this has been a super fun process. I think I'd probably like to make some more of these. So yeah, so that's a super easy way to make your first journal, I think. Anyway, I'll come back with the part 3, and it'll be creating embellishments, I think. Yeah, I think I'll probably do it my normal way. We'll create the embellishments first, and then we'll do the decorating, and that includes, we'll be decorating in here and here, possibly even there as well, because that will lift up like that. Okay, so that's going to be fun. So I hope you're enjoying this and crafting along with me, and I will see you again soon. Bye.